how unique and creative your office is.
Kept here a lot of typewriters, radio collection full of cinema memorabilia. Posters keep coming and keep acquiring. This has been happening for 15 years.
You are in love with cinema. If your journey so far was turned into a movie, what would be the title?
Live your dreams. This is my latest book, Corporate Insolvency, The Road to Viksit Bharat, released in July.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, so good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Something.
Family, of course. So good to see you.
So when we were walking in, we couldn't stop noticing that how unique and creative your office is. There are radios, typewriters, and could you just give us a tour of your office?
Well, yes, I can remember. I can understand because it's very unlike a lawyer's office, and it looks more like a museum or a curio shop. I'll be happy to, and also I'll be happy to talk about this is. But let me just start from outside, and we can come back to my room and I can talk about some of the things that are kept here in that sense. So, what you see here, in that sense, is a lot of typewriters. Now,
how many of these are with you?
So they'll be about 100 plus here. Some rare models, but our collection is about 568, 560 something, and I believe that we're the largest collectors of vintage typewriters in Asia. Only Shanghai Museum has more than us. But most of them store in the warehouse. But there's a passion. And you would also notice here is our radio collection, and I will show some of more to you in a bit. This again, we are one of the largest collectors of vintage.
It shows side of you, like you are in love with cinema. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, if you talk about cinema, we are one of the largest collectors of cinema memorabilia, Indian cinema memorabilia in the country. And I don't want to take you to this room because this room is full of cinema memorabilia. You see this is something, these are posters that have just arrived.
Oh wow.
And for sale. For example, this is from, this is not really an original poster because it's from Delhi, but this one is, for example, original. And so I keep these kind of, posters keep coming and keep acquiring. This has been happening for 15 years.
That makes me think, if your journey so far was turned into a movie, what would be the title?
Live your dreams.
Perfect.
And that's what I've done. Anything and everything that I had always, since childhood, aspired to, dreamt of doing. I have not saved it for my retirement. I lived my dreams on the way.
Live in the moment?
In the moment as well. And I've always, tried that I do not fall in the trap of success because, so you can, like, for example, a successful lawyer, you don't want to do anything else because you want to take the risk of distracting yourself from the profession that you're so successful. I was never insecure. So I have continued to be a writer. I wanted to love cinema, and our passion was, and why our passion was to document the history of Indian cinema, because we realize that Indian cinema hasn't really done that. The government hasn't really done enough. So in the last 15 years, we've been collecting this stuff. Last 6 years, we've been documenting the history of Indian cinema. I'll show you a little bit more about that.
That's interesting.
And this is another part of our collection, which is in memorabilia from daily way of life over the last 50, 60 years, 75 years. Something that we had it like omnipresent, very obviously present in our house, but we didn't really have any value for that in a way because we started throwing them when we had new technology coming. But there was a time in my time where everything was very precious, very valuable, and I could tell so many stories about one telephone. Even for a telephone that you have to apply, you have to wait for a connection for a year, and you have to know a member of parliament to get it on priority. You need to get every kind of instruments, and it's not like a new model of iPhone coming in every few months. This is a different word. So these are all storytelling things from the previous slide. And I'll show you some of the other collection of radios you will see. But again, not all of it is displayed here. Again, some of the cinema thing, all this is lying here, not gone to our warehouse because this is still being catalogued. So the stuff comes here first when we acquire. It is catalogued, it's digitized, and then it goes into the warehouse. And it's done in a protected way. But what you see here in these boxes are records from 1920s, 30s, before the LP era came in, before the vinyl records came in. And these are all what we call as Patthar ke record. 78. In all, we have about 12,500. Very rare music, folk music, classical music. The orchestra from Kolkata in 1920s, 30s, and songs of courtesans, the bais that were recorded, because the classical singers didn't give their voice to the LPs or to the for recording. They only played in the fills. Because they thought it's below their dignity to be able to do that. But bais, the courtesans did. And the bais and the courtesans is the one who came to the Indian cinema, started giving their voice, even acting. So that's history. So all this you see, we don't collect it just for the aesthetic value. There's tremendous history in this. In these radios and this whole little collection, you will find the history of the broadcasting in this region. In typewriters also, it's not just typewriters as a machine. There is a history of, how typewriters impacted society, economy, culture. For example, women, when they started coming out to work, before they became teachers, earlier it was all nurses, teachers, very few doctors. Typewriter gave the opportunity for the women to come out because they became stenographers and typists from Goa, Bombay in particular. And then it opened up for many other countries based on the government. They started hiring typists, so preferably women. But more interestingly, you'll be surprised that typewriter actually influenced the designs of the table on which typists sat on. Because, earlier the table was covered from two sides only. It had only 4 legs. But when these young women from Goa started coming in, they were Portuguese, so they wore skirts. And then when in offices they started coming and sitting and they wore skirts, that the office furniture started changing and they started covering the tables from the 3 sides. It was not just 4 legs. So, there are so many stories and anecdotes around the typewriters in that sense.
Who was your biggest influence as to introduce you to this world of typewriters, radios, and reels?
As far as this particular part of the collection is concerned, I think there wasn't really anybody who influenced this shade of my life. This is something that came from our philosophical kind of a mission to preserve the national heritage for the benefit of the next generation. Because, with prosperity, it comes change. Embrace the new, which is over for you. Everything changes around, which is bound to happen. But it's also important that we preserve our history, our heritage, and it doesn't get lost, forgotten, in this whole rapid race to change. Because at some point in time, we always come back to our roots. And then we should also have anything, even as an object, basis which we can start talking. So if you see, the partition history, a lot of people, my ancestors, they all came from what is now Pakistan. What they carried with them was memories and 1 or 2 objects. Maybe a small item of wood, maybe 1 utensil, maybe 1 piece of cloth. And they've clung to it because that's their memory, which is passed on to the nation as their, heirloom to the next generation as well for the family. And it's more precious than anything else because that gives them memory of hundreds years. And these objects have that kind of power. So we do it for that reason. Okay, let's just go to the room because we can spend otherwise the whole day here. In that sense, isn't it?
We see a lot of books in the room. Where are the books which are written by you?
Well, yes, there are so many books. The only books that you'll find here are twofold. One is of insolvency. All my collection from my 20 years of travel, my 20 years of journey of insolvency. Most of this we'll find in the books where you'll find one or the other reference of my work or an article or something, these two bookshelves. But if we were to talk about the books that I have written, then these are the books that I've written, including those that have anthologies. And these are some of the papers that have been published, written by me, and some of the other literature. But, this is just the beginning. I'm still writing, still counting.
If you woke up tomorrow morning in the alternate universe and this profession did not exist, what would you choose?
I think I'll be a filmmaker. I think I have a natural inclination for that art, and in a way that is the only one of the dreams that I still kind of a bleeding, right? God willing, this is my latest book, Corporate Insolvency: The Road to Viksit Bharat, released in July, which has already become a bestseller. People are talking about it because in a way it sort of documents the history of insolvency, not just the last 10 years of IBC, but even before that, and also sort of, in a way, in my humble vision of the insolvency going forward.